I'm not quite sure about this setup. You can kind of see my TV back there, and also you can see our Disney VHS collection. So I just recently read over the summer. It's October, but I've read it in August. I know, I'm late. I'm so sorry. I've read Neil Gaiman's American Gods, and I'm not sure about this book. You guys, I love Neil Gaiman. He's one of my favorite authors, but this book, okay, I guess. So I've already done reviews on Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane and Neverwhere, and I'll put these videos into the description below if you want to check them out. So I've read a lot of Neil Gaiman's works, not all of them. I still have to read the Sandman comics and Anansi Boys, and I believe there are some other things out there that I'm not aware of, and you know, the short story collections and things like that. But honestly, compared to what I've read already, American Gods may be the one that I like the least of all the books that I've read from Neil Gaiman. I definitely like Neverwhere a lot better, and Stardust also, and you know, the Graveyard Book. So what is American Gods about? I just tell you real quick, looking at my notes here. There you can see them. Pretty yellow book. So our main protagonist is Shadow, and he's almost done with his time in prison when he learns that his wife has died in a horrible car accident. He flies home to his little hometown in somewhere in in the Midwest. I think. I've forgotten the state, but you don't care for that. And on the plane, Shadow meets a man who calls himself Mr. Wednesday. And Mr. Wednesday offers Shadow a job. At first, Shadow declines the job offer, but you know, a lot of strange things happen, and eventually he takes the job, and Mr. Wednesday and Shadow hit the road and visit a lot of strange people. Mr. Wednesday wants to rally an army, for he says that a storm is coming. This is a very brief description. There are a lot of things happening in this book, and yeah, it's kind of strange. There are a lot of things happening in this book, but also not at the same time. It's strange. I can't really explain. Now on to my thoughts on this book. I don't really know what to make of this book, to be honest. I liked it. It's obviously very well written. We know that by now. Neil Gaiman is a wonderful writer and he knows his craft. But I don't think this particular book was for me. Let me tell you why. I'm obviously not American. I'm German, and I've never been to the United States of America. Everything I know from American culture, I know from, you know, the internet, films, movies, TV series, the news, and American people that I talk to. But I've never actually been there myself, and I don't think that I could, you know, that I grasped the story as it was supposed to be understood, and I think this is one of the books that you have to be American to read, or you have to have been to America to read and, you know, appreciate fully in its full, you know, awesomeness. Insert appropriate word here, please. Thank you. I had a little bit of trouble with the plot because for the most part I didn't see where it was going, and now in the end I'm left wondering, what was the point of all this? What was that for? you know, do you know what I mean? Have you ever read books like this before? I was at parts bored. Like, it wasn't exciting me at all. Nope. To Shadow's character, real quick. He's bland. He's very, very bland. Like, he has no agency of. He has no own agenda of any kind. He has no purpose for, you know, for his own benefit, or he doesn't. The plot is basically just random things happening to Shadow, and there's absolutely no questioning or no, what did I write down? No reflection to what has been happening to him. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening to him, but he's just, you know, going with it, and I just found that a little bit unbelievable. And I get it, in the end it's kind of his thing, and he's kind of not really alive or anything like that, but you know, it's kind of a... if you have a boring main protagonist, that reflects to your story, is what I want to say. There's no real villain. There are these shadowy kind of gods that we don't really know what is going on with them. Mr. Wednesday doesn't reveal much of his plans, so it's kind of hard to build some tension there. So yeah, that did add to my borement, to me being bored. I had to push myself to continue to read the story quite often. So also, there's a little bit of a trigger warning. There are some weird sex things happening within the first 20 pages. So if you don't like that, if you don't want to read anything about that, don't read it. It's not that there's a lot of sex, you know, that's just around, the story just evolves around sex, but there is a little bit of sex in there. So if you don't want to read anything about that, stay away from this. So I personally would recommend this book to people who have read other works of Neil Gaiman and want to complete, you know, all of his works. Then, you know, you read it, it's still written, you know, it's still a good book in terms of writing. The plot, though, I personally thought it was kind of boring. I also would recommend this to people who like mythologies, who know a lot about mythologies. You have to kind of know a little bit about different religions around the world, because I think you would have a hard time reading this book and understanding anything of it. I myself, I know quite a bit about mythologies, of, you know, northern mythologies, you know, Russian mythologies and Slavic mythologies, and I still had to Google occasionally. So yeah, I think you would have a hard time reading this if you go in completely ignorant about this. And yeah, and to people who, I would also recommend this to people who like reinterpretations of mythologies. Yeah, but if you want to start reading Neil Gaiman, I would recommend you either start with Neverwhere or Stardust, or, you know, The Graveyard Book or Coraline, even though the last two that I mentioned are children's books. But you know, I like children's books, they're still creepy. And so yeah, this was my review of American Gods. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have, as always, a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.